Before I get into the demo, I wanted to show you briefly the open source project. It's really there to help search developers, data scientists, and engineers create cross-silo solutions without moving data. There are connectors to all of the popular open source repositories like Elastic, OpenSearch, and Solr, databases like Postgres and Google BigQuery, and numerous services from nlresearch.com and Miro to Atlassian, M365, and more. As mentioned, it's all built on the Python Django stack, so you can easily extend it. And most importantly, it includes some of the best open source capabilities out there like Spatie and NLTK to re-rank results and give you the best so you don't have to go from tab to tab. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a quick look. So here is the new Galaxy UI. I can verify that I'm logged into Microsoft M365. So I'll be able to access all of my personal Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, etc. I'm going to start with a simple search on Enterprise Metasearch. We're going to let that run. It's going to go across all of the sources I have configured. Now, we use Swirl at Swirl. And so it searches my M365 plus a number of other engines that we've set up, including Google PSE, a database of company funding records, our YouTrack issue tracking system, and others. You're also going to see some commentary from ChatGPT. So let's start there. I'm actually just going to make this a little bit bigger. Right in the middle of the result, we do have a connector to ChatGPT, so you can send the query over. We kind of treat the result that you get from ChatGPT specially for one simple reason. It's not necessarily going to be truthful or accurate, but it might be interesting. So we put it here as a summary, sort of a comment on your query. But I can of course, scroll down and see what else came back. I have a source facet up here on the left that tells me I got results from OneDrive files, Outlook messages, and 2 Google programmable search engines that we've pre-trained. And here I'm going to find information about, so here's an email about a white paper, some of the different blog posts in document format and a PowerPoint slide. Here are some results from the web. This is, I think, from our website, Swirl Today, as you can see here. A video, which we have extracted some of the text from. So here we found a transcript. And as I continue moving through this, I can very quickly visually see that as the evidence of my search term becomes more and more in the body, less in the title, the exact phrase isn't there. And as the hits move to the right in the sentence, in English, right, a sentence is about what it begins with. So as it moves to the right, you'll see that it drops in relevancy rank. I can, of course, fully page through the results. I can select any single silo if I just want to look at my messages. I can also switch modes if I want to see the latest dated items, or perhaps I'd like to see the best from each result, kind of a nice way to get the best from each silo. So here I see messages, files, and enterprise search, and a strategy consulting, all pretty interesting stuff, pretty relevant, and it took just a few seconds. Here's another interesting search on relevancy ranking. This will also hit my default topics. It's going to bring back a few different things, though. For example, we get a nice summary again from ChatGPT. Here I can see that I have some results from a pay service, nlresearch.com. Northern Light is one of the most high quality providers of search. They also have, of any kind of content, they have amazing search that actually I started my career at. I don't want to say how long ago, but a shout out to all the Northern Light folks out there. So we have results from that if we wanted to take a look at sort of public discussions, right? High quality news about relevancy ranking. If I want to get more of the internal view, I could look at my issue tracking system. So these are things from the Swirl YouTrack, and here all kinds of information about what we're working on, improvements we're making to relevancy ranking, and problems we're having with relevancy ranking. But anyway, we won't dwell on those. Now, another idea, I was curious about how ChatGPT is potentially impacting things like enterprise search. Now here, I'm going to start my search with a tag. Swirl supports tagging of any source. You can tag it with essentially what it knows about. So for here, I'm saying go search the news sources for ChatGPT enterprise search. I'm interested in the impact that it might have. So here we can see some pretty typical results from a search vendor who's talking about how they've built their own generative AI. Here we'll see actually Azure offering the ability to feed corporate secrets to ChatGPT. That's pretty darn relevant. And as I slide down the result list, you'll see that these are all pretty good and definitely interesting to ChatGPT and how, for example, natural language or search might be about it. Now, I want to pause real quickly and mention the key, the real power of Swirl is the re-ranking of the results. Most importantly, it's a contextual re-ranking. So Swirl's large language model knows that natural language and search are closely related. So that's why result number 8 is ranking as highly as it is. Now we can do a lot more with tags. It allows the user or any kind of system that needs to query different sources by category to specify those sources with a tag. So here I'm going to do an interesting search: social media company Facebook. Now, this is an example where I've essentially said the company in this search is Facebook. So if there are repositories that have information about companies, should pass just the search Facebook to them. Don't give them the whole search. It's the database, not a search engine, and it might not be able to retrieve it. And as we can see, we actually pulled up, I'll make this a little larger. Our first result is from Google BigQuery. It's a table of company funding records that I found on Kaggle. And we can see that Facebook raised a pretty large financing round some time ago, along with some other data about the size of the company and its location. In addition to that, we have lots of information from all the other repositories that responded about content, social media. So we see some things about, our growth plans and marketing stuff that we've been working on. And we'll probably see a bunch of stuff that's not as relevant, right, coming back from other sources. But we can see here some good mentions of Facebook in social media topics. So I think it's doing a nice job of finding what's really most relevant to that query. And again, adapting the query so that a not so smart database that isn't investing, let's say, in query processing can actually make sense of and still participate in this query. Now, I love Swirl and I use it every day. One of the searches I do most often, quite honestly, is I use the YouTrack search to take a look at different bugs or issues or features that we're working on. So here very quickly in just 1.5 seconds, across our 2 different YouTrack installations, we have both issues and articles. I get the best results from both. We've done a nice job of really plumbing out the very rich information that's present in YouTrack tickets. So here I can figure out which one of these makes the most important, is most important for me to look at. I could also refine it. So for example, if I say, how does this matter for M365, it's probably going to bring me back a far smaller list of results.